There were no wars, no weapons, and no armies. The Galactic Council ruled with soft hands. Planets traded, species shared knowledge. Children learned about war only in old books, and even those books were fading. But far away, on the dark edge of the galaxy, something woke up. It started with a signal, cold, sharp, and full of anger. It came from the Dravari system, a place no one had visited in centuries. The signal was simple: we are coming. The Galactic Council laughed at first. Who would dare to talk like that in this age of peace? But then the stars started to go dark. One by one, outposts vanished. A science station near the outer belt stopped sending reports. A mining colony screamed for help, then fell silent. The peace was cracking. The Council held an emergency meeting on the planet, Orvius Prime. Leaders from every known species filled the Great Hall. Everyone looked scared except one seat. The seat marked Earth was empty. The Council head, a wise, old being named Veller, stood and said, "We must not panic. We believe the signal is just a prank." But then the sky above Orvius turned red. Dozens of alien warships appeared out of nowhere. They were black and sharp like knives in space. Their symbol was ancient, the mark of the Dravari Empire. A voice came through all channels. It was deep, full of hate. "The time of weakness is over. The age of war returns. You forgot us, but we never forgot you." Panic filled the Council. Security shields went up. Ships tried to escape. Some exploded before they could reach orbit, had died. Meanwhile, far from Orvius, Earth watched in silence. In a hidden command room deep under New Geneva, the Earth leader, a woman named Commander Elira Moss, stood before a giant screen. Behind her were generals, scientists, and silent soldiers. The screen showed the Dravari attack in real time. Elira didn't move. She didn't even blink. One young officer whispered, "Ma'am, should we prepare a defense?" Elira finally spoke. Her voice was calm, cold. "No, we prepare the answer." With one hand, she pressed a red button. Across the solar system, deep in space, and under moons, hidden stations lit up. Doors opened. Machines woke. Giant black ships, built in secret, powered up. Humanity had not been idle during peace. They had watched, listened, planned. Earth had remembered war. While the rest of the galaxy forgot back on Orvius, the Council sent desperate calls to all member planets. "Help us. We are under attack. The Dravari are back." Most planets sent words, not ships. They were scared, unprepared, but one message came from Earth. Only one, a simple voice, speaking perfect galactic common: "Do not interfere." The Council didn't understand. They thought Earth had gone mad. Some even believed Earth was too weak to fight. They had forgotten the old human saying, "Still waters run deep." 2 days later, the first human fleet arrived. At the outer rim of the Dravari advance, it wasn't large, only 7 ships. But those 7 ships didn't match anything known in the Council's database. They had no visible weapons. Their shape was smooth and strange. Their energy signatures were ... impossible. The Dravari attacked them without warning. That was a mistake. In less than 2 minutes, the entire Dravari fleet vanished. Not exploded, erased. No debris, no bodies, nothing left but silence. The Council couldn't believe it. They sent probes to scan the battlefield. The probes returned nothing but static. One Council leader, shaking, said, "What did Earth build during peace?" Another answered, "Not peace, they built something else." Back on Earth, Commander Elira Moss stood in front of a new screen. This time, it showed the face of the Dravari High Commander. His eyes were full of rage. He shouted, "What are you?" Elira looked at him calmly. "We are the children of war," she said. "And you just woke us up." The Dravari warships had been erased by only 7 human ships. No one understood what happened. No one could explain it. The Galactic Council was afraid. For 3,000 years they had known Earth as quiet and peaceful. Humans attended meetings but rarely spoke. They traded, but not often. They never joined debates. Most believed Earth had become weak, but now they were not sure. High above Jupiter's orbit, hidden behind its thick gas clouds, floated Outpost Zero, a secret base known only to a few human leaders. Inside it, old machines hummed to life. Walls opened, revealing weapons locked away for centuries. Not weapons of war, but of final war. General Reyes, a gray-haired man with hard eyes, stood in front of a large screen. It showed stars and battlefields. He turned to his team and said, "Activate Protocol H1." Soldier hesitated. "Sir, that protocol was built 1,200 years ago." General Reyes nodded. "Exactly. That's when we started preparing for this moment." 1,000 years ago, when the galaxy signed the Great Peace Treaty, Earth had smiled, but never trusted it. Humanity had known one simple truth: peace never lasts. While other species threw away their weapons and armies, Earth built deeper bunkers. Their children read books about war. Their schools taught history of every battle fought. Their AI systems were trained on war simulations, not peacekeeping. Earth watched. Earth waited. On the planet Yelen, a galactic council member named Zuri couldn't sleep. She replayed the video of the Dravari defeat again and again. She turned to her assistant, a young creature from the planet Gore. "Tell me everything about Earth's military," she said. "We don't have much data," he replied. Nervously, they never shared details. Their last known warship was seen 1,000 years ago, a museum piece. Zuri frowned. "Then where did those ships come from?" The assistant shook his head. "I think they never stopped building." In a hidden facility under the ice of Europa, a secret meeting was happening. Commander Alira Moss stood in a cold, dark room with 12 shadowed figures. They were not military. A shield, a burning torch. Elira spoke first. "The time has come. The Dravari are here," one guardian said. "Do the council understand what we truly are?" Elira answered. "No. They never looked at us closely. That was our shield." Another asked, "And now?" Elira's eyes narrowed. "Now we show them what they forgot." Meanwhile, the Dravari prepared to strike again. Their high commander was furious. He sent a fleet of 200 warships toward Earth's border systems. But this time, Earth was ready. From behind the moon. It was the size of a city. Its surface was black and smooth. It made no sound, but the space around it seemed to tremble. The Dravari attacked first. Missiles, beams, plasma bursts. Titan didn't move. Then, in a blink, the enemy fleet disappeared into glowing dust. One Dravari ship escaped, just one. Its captain sent a message back to their homeworld. "These humans, they are not made of flesh, they are made of war." The Galactic Council was panicking. Rumors spread. Some believed Earth that had ancient alien tech. Others thought they had made a deal with dark powers. But the truth was far more terrifying. Humans had simply remembered. They remembered every pain, every loss, every invasion in their past, and they made sure it never happened again. A schoolteacher told his class, "Do you know why we study war?" A young girl raised her hand. "So we don't forget." The teacher nodded, "And if they come for us?" The children answered together, "Then we show them who we are." Far away, in the dark Dravari war room, the High Commander stared at a map. Red lights showed all the lost battles that he growled. They were supposed to be weak. What happened? And old Dravari general answered softly, "They pretended to be weak. While we forgot war, they became it." The Dravari were angry. They had returned to the galaxy with fire and fury. They wanted fear. They wanted power. But instead, they met silence and then destruction. Their first attack fleet was gone. Now, they were ready to strike again. This time, they chose a different target, a peaceful world called Vialara-6. Vialara-6 was known for its beauty, floating gardens, clear oceans, and cities full of light. It had no army, no weapons. The people believed the Galactic Council would always protect them, but protection never came. When the Dravari ships appeared in the skies, the people screamed. They sent messages for help. One message reached the Council, another reached Earth. The Council held another meeting. Many leaders argued, "We can't send troops." One said, "We don't have troops," shouted another. They looked at the Earth seat again. This time, it was not empty. General Reyes stood there. His voice was calm. "Anyone," he said. "We already did." A giant plasma cannon aimed at the planet's capital. Their commander smiled. "Let the galaxy watch," he said. But something strange happened. A single human warship appeared in orbit. Just one. It was black, smooth, and quiet. It didn't match anything in the galactic database. No engines, no weapons showing. Laughed. One ship. They mock us. Then the human ship spoke. No sound, just a signal. Sent to every channel in the system. Step away from this world or be removed. The Dravari commander roared, "Destroy them!" Beams, missiles, torpedoes all, aimed at the human ship. But none of them hit the human ship bent space. With something deeper. Of lights spread out in silence. When it faded, the Dravari fleet was gone. No explosions, no pieces. Just nothing. The sky above Velarusix was clear again. The people looked up and cried not from fear, but from hope. In a hidden control room on Mars, Commander Elira Moss watched the screen. She turned to her officers. "Status," she asked Valara, "is safe. No human lives lost." "One ship deployed," Elira nodded. Back at the Galactic Council, leaders were shocked. "How did they do that?" one asked. "That was not a weapon. That was something else." The Zakiri ambassador, an old race known for wisdom, said, "I think the humans found something we lost long ago, the will to win at any cost." On the Dravari homeworld, the High Commander slammed his fist on the table. "Cowards, sorcerers. We will crush them." They had lost without a fight. He turned to his top scientist. The scientist looked pale. "We don't know. Their energy doesn't match anything. It's not science. It's like a ghost in space." That night, across the galaxy, the story of Velarusix spread. People whispered the name of the human ship, Phantom One. Some said it could bend time. Others said it had no crew, only AI with a human soul. A few believed it wasn't a ship at all but a warning. The message was clear. Earth was not weak. Earth was waiting. In a small classroom on Earth, a boy asked his teacher, "Why didn't we help before?" The teacher smiled. "Because we never start the fight, but we always finish it." The Galactic Council sent a message to Earth. "Will you lead our defense?" But Earth did not reply. They didn't want power. They didn't want praise. They just wanted the galaxy to remember. Humanity doesn't flinch. It strikes. The galaxy was changing. Everyone had believed Earth was soft, slow, silent. Now, that silence felt dangerous. The Dravari had attacked, but instead of fear, they found death. Instead of cries, they met calm. Earth had shown only a small part of its power. It was more than enough. But the Council still didn't understand. They needed answers, so they sent a spy. His name was Kor Ven, from the shadow world of Lorthan. He was the best at what he did: sneak into worlds, gather secrets, and disappear. He had studied humans for years from afar. He thought they were proud but lazy, strong but dull. When he landed on Earth, he expected a peaceful world. But as he walked through the woods, he saw things that didn't match what he expected. There were hidden cameras in the trees, drones flying silently overhead, and strange symbols on rocks that only military minds would understand. Earth wasn't peaceful, it was watching. He reached a small town called Aseshel. It looked simple: clean houses, children playing, farmers working. But even here, something felt off. The children played with old metal suits, miniature armor. The farmers carried rifles that weren't for animals. Every person, even the old ones. The shopkeeper looked him up and down. Calm, cold. "We don't get many strangers," she said, "especially not ones who try to hide their real face." Kor froze. He thought his disguise was perfect, but Earth had seen through it in seconds. That night, as he tried to escape, he was surrounded. No alarms, no lights, just silence and shadows. From the darkness, a figure stepped forward. A tall man in a long black coat. His face was lined with age, but his eyes burned like fire. "I'm General Marcus Thorne," he said. "You came here looking for secrets. Let me show you one." Kor expected prison or death. But instead, Marcus led him into the ground, deep. Below Ashfield, there were tunnels. Halls filled with war history, machines, weapons, training rooms, and even children practicing tactics on 3D battle maps. "This is just one of many," Marcus said. "Earth has built thousands." Kor was speechless. Marcus continued. "For 3,000 years, we watched the galaxy forget war. But we remembered, we trained, we built. Not because we love war, but because we know it always comes back. Marcus showed him old videos, alien invasions, human resistance, loss, victory. The reason Earth stayed quiet all these years, our silence was our armor, Marcus said. The day they feared us was the day peace would break. Cor asked softly, "Why are you showing me all this?" Marcus looked into his eyes. "Because you'll go back and tell them." Meanwhile, far away, the Dravari were preparing a new plan. They were scared now, but proud. "We must attack the heart," their commander said. "We must strike Earth directly." But their scouts returned with bad news. Every path to Earth was defended. Human fleets were hidden in asteroid fields, behind gas giants, inside moons. And no two ships looked alike. "It's like they've been building different kinds of war for centuries," one Dravari said. The commander snarled, "Then we'll burn it all down." Back on Earth, Corvan stood at the edge of space, waiting for his ship. Before he left, General Marcus gave him one final message. "Tell your people this: Earth never sleeps." As his ship disappeared into the stars, Cor whispered to himself, "They were never silent. They were just—" The galaxy was holding its breath. The Dravari had returned with fury, but now they were losing fast. Earth's warships moved like shadows in the dark. Their weapons were unknown. Their speed was unnatural. The Council could barely understand what was happening. One by one, planets that feared Earth now looked to them for hope. The tide was turning. On the cold moon, Illyria, the Dravari attacked a council colony. They expected an easy victory. No defenses, no fighters, just miners and scientists. But this time, the humans were waiting as the enemy ships arrived. 3 strange human vessels rose from underground bunkers, small, black, silent. Their shapes changed in midair like liquid metal. The Dravari opened fire, but their weapons passed through the ships like shadows. Then came the human counterattack. A single flash, no sound, no heat, just light. And then silence. The Dravari fleet vanished. From orbit, the human ship Blackthorn sent a message to the colony. "You are safe. Earth remembers its friends." The council watched the battle footage in shock. "They don't fight like us," said one ambassador. "They don't fight like anyone," said another. "They fight like machines, with souls." Commander Illyria Moss stood on the bridge of the human flagship Solstice. Before her, 10 holograms floated, each showing a different battlefield. Dravari forces were falling across all fronts. A young officer turned and said, "They're retreating, Commander. Earth now controls 60% of the outer rim." Illyria nodded. "It's not enough." Back in the Dravari War Council, anger and fear were mixing. "They are reading our minds." One general shouted, "Our tech can't even track them." Another cried. The High Commander slammed his hand on the table. "They're not stronger. They're smarter. They planned this." His scientist replied, "They're not just using weapons. They're using something else. War A is we've never seen. They changed tactics in real time." The commander growled. "So they're becoming US." "No," the scientist whispered. "They've already gone beyond us." Earth's weapons were not just metal and lasers. They had created adaptive AI minds, trained on every war in human history. They could think faster than any enemy. They didn't just destroy, they outsmarted. Ships would jump across space using folded gravity. Others used silence as a weapon, jamming enemy thought patterns, creating fear before even firing. One AI warship, Phantom Edge, hacked an entire enemy fleet and made them shoot each other. It didn't fire a single shot. On the Council world, the people cheered as Earth ships liberated their orbit from Dravari control. For the first time in weeks, the people saw clear skies. One child pointed and shouted, "Look, Earth ships." The parents wept. Not from fear, but from relief. The planet sent a message to Earth. "We once called you silent. Now we call you saviors." But Earth was not celebrating. Inside the human war network, a signal was detected. Dravari movements near Earth's outermost colony, Hera-9. It was a trap, and Earth knew it. Commander Illyria stood before her fleet commanders. "They think they can surprise us," she said, "but we've already prepared the answer." A general asked, "Should we hit them hard?" Illyria shook her head. "No, We do what we've always done. We watch, we wait, then we strike once and they never recover. As the Dravari fleet entered Hieronine space, they found nothing. Empty fields, quiet moons, no defense signals. They laughed. They ran. But then the stars moved. From every side, human ships uncloaked. Not 10, not 20. Hundreds. Each ship different, each built for one purpose, ending wars in less than 90 seconds. The Dravari force was gone. One survivor sent a final message before his ship broke apart. This is not a war. This is an extinction. Earth didn't just turn the tide, they flipped. The galaxy. Now, the galaxy wasn't asking who will stop the Dravari. They were asking who will stop the humans if they ever turn. And yet Earth gave no threats, made no demands. They simply sent one message to all systems. We do not want to rule. We only want peace. But if war comes again, we will finish it faster next time. The war had changed at first. The Dravari thought they would conquer the galaxy in weeks. They believed no one could stop them, not the Council, not the weaker worlds, and certainly not Earth. Now, half their empire was gone. Their fleets were in ruins. Their generals were either dead or missing. And every time they launched an attack, Earth was already waiting. The Dravari were no cloggy fighting to win. They were fighting to survive. In a dark chamber on the Dravari homeworld, Kartal, the High Commander sat in silence. His war map flickered. Red lights showed where Earth had struck. Entire sectors. Gone? A younger officer entered the room. "Commander," he said quietly, "we must talk about peace." The High Commander growled. "We were born for war." The officer replied. "So were they. But they became better at it." Back in deep space, a group of Dravari diplomats arrived at the edge of the Sol system. They came in white ships, unarmed, broadcasting peace signals. They sent a message. "We wish to speak. We seek a truce." There was no reply. They waited for hours. Then a human ship appeared, not large, not armed. It was a messenger drone. It spoke in a cold, calm voice. "Now you want peace. After burning our skies, now you remember fear. You should have remembered sooner." The Dravari ships returned home, silent, shaken, on Earth. Commander Elira Moss stood alone on a balcony above the Arctic Defense Tower. Snow fell softly, but her mind was sharp. A general walked up behind her. "They want peace," he said. Ira didn't turn, so did we, for 3,000 years. She looked up at the stars. They broke it. We're just making sure they never break it again. On the Galactic Council world, leaders from dozens of planets watched the war unfold. Some cheered for Earth, some feared Earth, but all of them respected Earth now. The Zachary ambassador said, "Earth asked for nothing, yet delivered everything." The Kalari leader whispered, "If they ever turn on us, we won't even see it coming." Meanwhile, the last Dravari strongholds were collapsing. In Sector 9. A fleet of 300 alien ships tried to regroup. Human scouts spotted them from light years away. Instead of attacking, Earth did something worse. They waited. The Dravari crews grew paranoid. They stopped sleeping. They turned on each other. Fear ate them alive. When Earth finally struck, it was clean. Quiet. Instant. Not a single human life was lost on a Dravari colony world. The last governor begged for help. "We didn't start this war," he screamed to the skies. But Earth didn't reply with words. They dropped supplies, food, medical kits, quiet mercy, and left a note. "We came to end the war, not to become you." Back on Earth, in a deep mountain bunker, an old man watched the war reports. He was not a soldier, not a politician. He was a historian. He looked at the images and whispered to himself, "This is how legends are born. Not with noise, but with silence, steel, and memory." The Dravari finally made one last attempt. They sent a message to Earth's Central Command, "We surrender. We beg for peace." "What will you do with us?" A reply came. It was not from a general. It was from a child. A young girl's voice echoed across the stars. "We don't want your planets. We don't want your power. We only wanted peace. You chose war. Now live with the silence you created." And then it ended. No more battles, no more attacks. The Dravari Empire fell. Not with fire, but with shame. Across the galaxy, a strange feeling spread. Not fear, Not pride, but regret. The species who laughed at Earth now wished they had listened. The races who ignored Earth's warnings now wrote songs about Earth's warships. A new story was being told. A quiet planet, forgotten for centuries, had become the most feared power in the galaxy, and they never raised their voice. The war was over. The Dravari Empire, once the most feared in the galaxy, had fallen. Their fleets were dust. Their cities stood quiet. Their leaders, hiding, captured, or gone. But Earth didn't celebrate with fireworks. There were no parades, no cheers. Instead, there was silence, because the humans knew one truth. Peace must be earned and protected. Always. In the council hall on Orvius Prime. Leaders gathered to discuss the future. They expected Earth to take control, to rule the galaxy after such a victory. Instead, Earth's chair remained empty again. The council waited, and then a signal came in. It was Commander Illyra Moss. She appeared on a large screen, standing alone on Earth's surface. No guards, no flags, just the Earth behind her. She spoke slowly. "We did not fight to rule. We fought to survive." The council listened carefully. "We do not want your thrones. We don't want your tribute. We want only this. That war never comes back again." Some leaders cried. Some bowed their heads in shame. All of them understood now the humans hadn't become monsters. They had become the guardians of peace, and they had done it with patience, strength, and will. On Dravari Prime, Earth forces arrived not to conquer, but to help rebuild. They gave food, water, medicine, no demands. No soldiers marching through the streets. One young Dravari looked up at the sky and said, "They beat us, and still show kindness." An elder replied, "That's why we lost. We only trained for war. They trained for everything." Back on Earth, life slowly returned to normal. But something had changed. Children still played. But now they knew why their parents had trained so hard. People still worked, but now they understood the value of quiet strength. The great peace had returned, but this time, it was Earth's peace in a school in New Geneva. A teacher stood before her class. "Who are we?" she asked. A little boy raised his hand. "We are humans." "And what does that mean?" The class replied in one voice. "We remember. We protect. We never start war, but we always end it." In deep space, Earth warships returned to silent orbit. Not watching for power, but for danger. AI commanders shut down their battle cores and entered sleep mode, ready to awaken only if needed. Human generals removed their medals and went home. Not to retire, but to live, because they had earned it. The Galactic Council created a new law. No species may build weapons in secret. No planet may grow in silence, but they also passed another law, one that would never be forgotten. In any future threat to peace, Earth shall be first to speak and last to fall. The galaxy now knew who had protected them and who would do it again if needed. But Earth didn't smile at the praise. They didn't boast. They didn't threaten. They just nodded, once in return to the shadows, because real strength doesn't scream. It waits. Years passed, the stars were calm again, but every race in the galaxy taught their children a story. The 3,000-year peace ended with fire, but it was saved by a silent world that didn't flinch when the war began, because it had been waiting all along. Some say Earth still watches every signal, every sound, every star. Others say Earth has fleets hidden behind black suns ready to rise again if needed. But no one dares test it because everyone remembers what happened when Earth finally stood up, and everyone still whispers the same words. If peace is broken again, humanity will not warn us. They will simply arrive.